The woman about to make history next week as New York's first female governor, making the rounds in New York City and speaking to local leaders, including Mayor Bill de Blasio and former election rival, public advocate Jumaane Williams, to discuss key issues for New Yorkers.
So what's more important is what came out of that meeting, those meetings, and the possibility that one man, Williams, who was one of Hochul's fiercest critics, could end up becoming her lieutenant governor, possibly. The public advocate joining us now to share some of what was discussed in that meeting. Good morning to you. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. Good morning. Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So I'm going to cut right to the chase here because that is the big question, right? What is, and I asked you this the last time you were here, the likelihood, especially after yesterday's meeting, that you'll be packing your bags, moving to Albany next week? Are there any indications you're going to become lieutenant governor?
Well, first of all, I just want to thank the lieutenant governor for reaching out to have this important conversation. The meeting was really primarily about with two leaders, one a citywide elected, one a statewide elected. The lieutenant governor's position is not one that I'm seeking, and the conversation was mostly focused about the issues that are really germane to New Yorkers right now.
You're not seeking it, but did the conversation at all happen about you being it?
That really wasn't the conversation. We really were focused on what is happening with New Yorkers and how can folks work together to make sure that things get better in the state.
Okay, well, you answered that directly. Thank you for that. You know, there are reportedly two more New Yorkers on Hochul's shortlist, Harlem State Senator Brian Benjamin and Bronx Senator Jamal Bailey. Want to get your thoughts on them and any indication from Kathy Hochul yesterday on when she might decide.
I actually didn't ask that question. I know both of those gentlemen very well. As I said, that's not a position that I'm seeking. And those gentlemen do a lot of great work for the city and the state. Really, the focus of that conversation was around COVID vaccine hesitancy, the rise of gun violence, the tenant relief fund that's stuck and not helping tenants and small homeowners, and that's really the primary focus of that meeting.
So, you know, you were an outspoken critic of Hochul when you ran against her, right? When you were also running for lieutenant governor. Have you changed your mind about her as an individual now that she is becoming the governor?
You know, obviously, I ran a few years ago. There was some marked differences in how I felt the state should be run, that position in particular, and my willingness to challenge Cuomo for quite some time. They don't just disappear overnight. But again, I think it's important right now to recognize that there's a historic moment about to occur. We're going to have the first woman governor. And then, unfortunately, another historic moment with the governor resigning. And so my hope is that we will focus on making sure that the state sees that transition of leadership. And some of those questions, I think, can be answered after that.
I want to get your opinion on how ready she is to lead, because you talked about two big issues with Kathy Hochul, and that is COVID-19, the Delta variant, and what we're seeing right now, also the uptick in violence. How is she going to tackle that?
Well, I think what people are finally beginning to see are things that myself and a few others were pointing out for a very long time, that the governor was dropping the balls on many of these issues and was failing this state, even though on TV, he was exuding a type of leadership that wasn't happening. So from that aspect, we can close a chapter on that, which is exciting. I think many folks are excited to get past that. The conversations I had with the Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul, I think were very productive. They discussed those issues. I think she's genuinely interested in moving the state forward, and was generally interested in what I had to say and the solutions that I've been presenting for quite some time. And I'm looking forward to the fruits of that conversation in the coming weeks.
You know, a big topic of conversation right now, besides those issues that you raised, is also congestion pricing and how this will affect so many New Yorkers, especially during the pandemic. The lieutenant governor saying she has to kind of look at this, seeing how it kind of plays out coming out of a pandemic. Did you guys discuss that, and what is your position on congestion pricing?
I have been supportive of congestion pricing for quite some time. There is no better time than now. I think a year and a half or close to that timeline that they're looking into this is way too long. There's been enough discussion about this. There's been enough research into it. If you're coming into from wherever to Manhattan, particularly Midtown Manhattan, there's just no reason that you necessarily have to do that every single day. And we have to take that into account. The congestion is worse now than it was before. We beat out California for the most traffic going to work and coming from work. We have to do something about that just for that, but also for climate change. And so I drive as well. That is a privilege if you drive and go into that part of the city. And that's the new part we're talking about. And so it's something that needs to happen and happen now.
All right, Public Advocate Jumaane Williams, thanks so much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
Good to see you. Absolutely.
Always. Thank you.